Reddit, dit to do, and welcome into More Important Issues. It is Sunday, May 17th. The Vols are national champions. Again, in our heads.
Again.
Doing the 98 rewatch. We watched the national championship. Hope you watched along because it took me back to a time that I don't remember. But it's fine.
What a time it was, though.
It's better than what's been happening pretty much most of the last 10 years. So,
but all the good things are like things that happen when you don't remember, right?
Remember?
We couldn't remember anything last night, you remember?
So, we'll obviously get into the national championship game, but yes, we talked about how we've always watched this game. This game we've seen 1,000 times. We just finished our first watch through of the 98 entire season, from Syracuse all the way to the final national championship game in the Fiesta Bowl. First time ever doing that.
Yeah.
I can't imagine. I wonder how many people have done it before this, since that season. Obviously, Larry Smith. Shout out to Larry Smith, who has uploaded all of the games to YouTube and made the 98 rewatch possible.
Love Larry Smith. They also, in that game, I know we're not going to get into it, but they mention how Florida State is missing one of their top defensive players, Larry Smith.
Oh, nice.
So I don't know if it's the same Larry Smith that uploaded all these videos, but hey, we tip your hat to both Larry Smiths.
Yeah, we appreciate not playing in the national championship game. Gave us a better chance, and then uploading them all. So
yeah.
Shout out, big guy there. We've got a great show for you guys. Sports have returned, sort of. Europe has seen soccer return. Today there was golf on.
NASCAR.
NASCAR today as well, yeah. So sports are unofficially, our favorite term, officially back. Obviously can't wait until football's back. Plus, fans. I know it's not likely, but I'm still holding on to hope.
I'm always, until they tell me no.
Right.
Like I'm hoping.
Yeah, I mean, and if it's only like 100 fans, which obviously Neyland, if they did like socially, well, still I kind of don't understand it. But if they were like, oh yeah, everyone's got to sit a certain amount of feet apart, we can only have so many fans in the stands. I will fight anyone and everyone for a chance to be there. So
I'm thinking like we're gonna get like a couple games into the season. Hopefully not halfway like they waited with Uroš Plavšić, but I feel like halfway through the season they're like, dude, it's not the same. Just let them in.
Run it. It's worth it if people die.
Yeah.
Oh shoot, that got loud. I was watching. Someone posted a video of the run out of the tee from the Appalachian State game in 2016.
Electric?
That night. Well, so that night too, I was late because it was a Thursday night. Well, I got there as they were running out of the tee.
Okay.
I ran because I got dropped off at Henley Street, or at the end of Henley Street Bridge, and ran. And I had to get my ticket from a friend's apartment, and ran to the stadium and got there as the tee was opening, and it was awesome.
And then you just ran right through it, right?
Yeah, and then I just joined in. Also, Chad Fields said he got to run through the tee, so I'm gonna need to hear that story.
I have heard that story.
You have? I don't think he's followed up on Twitter. Does he got to wait until like the statute of limitations run out on that?
Yeah.
Okay.
It'd probably be.
He's gonna have to wait for that one.
Self-incrimination.
Okay, yeah. So we'll wait, or maybe leave us an anonymous message.
I'll tell you after the show exactly how it went down.
Okay, I'll do that. If you want to leave an anonymous message, we'll post it.
Yeah, there you
go. We do have,
like put it as not Chad Fields.
Yeah, exactly. Like with the black, the like the shadowed face out.
Yeah,
yeah. We'll do that.
And he'll have the voice of where they. I think it was like the gang. They talk about like a gang documentary.
Yeah, and they wear the bandanas. We do have a great episode. We're talking recruiting. Tennessee's still, I guess, not rolling yet, but another commit potentially coming tomorrow.
Yeah,
and we'll talk all about that. Matt McClung, is he coming to the Hill?
I don't know.
We'll talk about it. We don't know. QB situation. It's obviously still a talking point, especially this week with.
We can literally talk about this every single. Yeah,
I think we should.
Every single show.
I think we should.
Just bring it up.
Wear it out.
Yeah.
Jared Garantano, a picture of him going around. Has he put on weight? Has he put on muscle or fat? We'll talk about that. I love that everyone's like examining it, like they could really tell.
Right.
From personal experience, I can tell you it's a lot harder to put on muscle than it is fat, but it's funny that I love that people are trying to decide by one picture and maybe a video, I guess.
Yeah.
So, then the 98 game. I'm ready to talk about this. Did you watch the 3-hour one or the hour and a half one?
I wanted to do the hour and a half just to save time, but I was like, I gotta have the full experience.
I watched it. I even watched the commercials. How about that Ford Taurus ad?
I thought of you as soon as I thought. I was like, Caleb, we're definitely going to talk about the Ford Taurus.
Oh, yeah. Ford Taurus is my first car. I love that car. I would still drive it if it hadn't quit on me. I drove that thing into the ground. I didn't necessarily take good care of it, and it still lasted me a while. So, shout out to Ford Taurus. It was was it the #1 government-rated car? Is that the ad?
Yeah, it was like it was the 99 version, I guess. Yeah. Which I guess, was that their first one?
I think there were a few earlier ones.
Okay.
But, I think it was late 90s was the first one.
But it looked, just like yours. I don't know what how old was yours?
2001, something like that. Yeah.
So it was right around.
And then the CBS, I guess, or not CBS, ABC was premiering, I guess, their online stat. Was that what it was? Like an online updated stat throughout the game?
Oh, so that was ESPN.com.
Oh, it was ESPN? It wasn't ABC? Okay. Yeah. So they were previewing that, and then I don't know if it was the first college game that the Yellow Line, but it was early. I mean, that was the first season the Yellow Line was there.
Well, it was Keith Jackson's first. He was like, I like it.
Okay. So, there you go. How about Keith Jackson getting the Affleck trivia question game to himself?
Yeah, what?
That blows my mind. That's in a national championship game. That's the best trivia question you could come up with.
Thanks for that. We couldn't do another one. Like, okay, you make one. Right. Like there was other times in the season where we had 2 Affleck trivia questions.
Wasn't it by accident though?
Yeah, it probably was. We could have done it again.
Right. So we are going to talk about the '98 national championship game and how Florida State almost had to kick off to us twice to open up each half. That's incredible.
How do you put that guy in charge?
Right.
When he has no clue what's going on.
That happened either this year in the NFL or in college football. I can't remember which one. And I guess the head official, I believe it was a Pac-10 crew at the time. I believe it was them. He clarified for him. So, and how about Ricky Williams getting to do the coin toss?
Yeah, wow.
That doesn't happen anymore. You usually get a legend from either of the schools playing.
Yeah, I know Mark Ingram was like a couple years out of Alabama.
I kind of like having the Heisman winner do it. I guess he couldn't if he was on the national championship team, but
right.
Or maybe he could. I don't know.
Yeah,
a little biased. See if he can flip that coin just right.
Yeah.
And then we've got some segments for you guys. That's our most important of the week and our fail of the week. Before we get all the way into our show, though, Landon's going to tell you guys about how you can win a gift card tonight.
Yeah. So we're giving away a $25 gift certificate to Hound Dogs. Hound Dogs is also one of our sponsors, so go check them out. Go check out our other sponsors, Tennessee Tap House, Bet Now, and Commercial Bank. We'll give away that gift certificate at the end of the show, so stay tuned, and we will tell you exactly what you need to do to cash that in if your name is called. To be in the drawing, go to volunteerroadshow.com, create a profile, and you can get all of our free content, and that'll put you in the drawing each episode for that $25 gift certificate. I'm going to tell you guys about Commercial Bank. Commercial Bank is your neighborhood bank, and they're a leading financial institution with the services, capabilities, and resources of regional and national banks. Whether it's purchasing a home, saving for your child's future, or planning your next vacation, Commercial Bank is with you every step of the way to navigate life's big decisions. Life made better. Visit cbtn.com to learn more and find a branch near you. Guys, go check out the official bank of more important issues, Commercial Bank.
Let's do it. Let's get into this. Miles Campbell. Is that where we're kicking this off? We've got some recruiting stuff. You want to go ahead and start and talk? Because he just tweeted, 15, 20 minutes ago?
Yeah, so I guess we'll start with, if you have any questions or anything, feel free to comment in here. We'll try to get to those. Like, share, retweet, whatever you're on. We're looking on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. So we'll try to get to every single one of those questions. Yep. We have one. So David Newcomb, since we're talking about recruiting, commits, things like that, he has a comment that says no commits this weekend. What the hell is going on?
They thought they'd let soccer and NASCAR and golf have their return on their own.
Yeah.
So that was really nice of Jeremy Pruitt and his staff to let sports come back and be the highlight. He didn't want to take it over with yet another hat trick. Yeah,
they're taking so many commitment applications right now. You can't take everybody.
Right. Maybe there's applications that are in review currently.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a process before the next hat trick arrives.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have a little old lady scrolling through all those in a basement somewhere at UT right now. So.
Exactly. Because
she's essential.
She is essential. Hope she's wearing her mask.
Yep.
Yeah, so we haven't had any commits this weekend, but tomorrow it's looking like the Vols potentially could end up with another commit, and it just so happens as well that this is an area of need that we've been talking about.
Yeah, tight end position. That's 3-star tight end Miles Campbell out of Douglasville, Georgia. He's 6'4", 234, and ranked in the top 500. And it's, we were talking about last episode, I think, of the positions in need, and we need just like a true tight end. We don't really have one. We have guys that are going to try out receiver, and if they don't find a place there, they could probably end up at tight end. But this guy, it looks like he's going to be a tight end from the jump.
Right.
So it looks like it's between us and Florida State right now. I know Auburn's in there. He has offers from Florida, Arkansas, Ole Miss, a bunch of SEC teams in there, Kentucky as well. So, yeah, just a solid guy. We'll see kind of where his decision is at tomorrow. Tennessee is also in with 4-star defensive tackle Tyrion Ingram-Dawkins out of Gaffney, South Carolina. He was originally supposed to make a decision today. Moved it back, talk about it a little bit, but Tennessee is in his top 6 that he released earlier this week. I think it's between Florida State, Georgia, Penn State, South Carolina, Tennessee, and North Carolina. So Tennessee likes their chances there. He's the number 1 player in South Carolina. So maybe doing that Jalen Hyatt thing. We just go, and Bryce Thompson. We just go get the best players out of South Carolina.
South Carolina's not going to do it.
No, absolutely
not. You talked about how we could see a position change with some of these wide receivers. Miles Campbell is pretty much the same size as D. Beckwith. That 6'4", I think D. Beck was 6'4", 230 range, somewhere in there. I haven't watched any of Miles Campbell's highlights, judging that he's already a tight end. I'd imagine he probably doesn't have the same intangibles quite as D. Beckwith, where he kind of measures out as a wide receiver with his 40 time, and then just he's a freak athlete too. So that certainly helps.
Yeah, I saw where he played kind of quarterback. I don't know what his. He played quarterback in 2017.
Going to get athletes.
Yes, so had some rushing yards, had some, I think 83 passing attempts. I don't know if he was the full-time quarterback.
Right.
Maybe somebody got hurt and he had to play. But had 533 receiving yards last season. 68 receptions.
It's pretty solid for a high school tight end.
Yeah,
that's a lot of action for a position that usually gets left out at that level.
For sure.
It does help that he does have that size. And obviously, he's athletic. I mean, a lot of guys, 6'4", and you start pushing 230, 250 as a high schooler, they might try to move you to offensive line depending on what they have at your school. So it shows how he's athletic enough to obviously play that position.
You talk about 230 when you get in a weight room. It's, I don't know. I feel like it's different with every kid. Like, do you go in there kind of like bolt up, or do you kind of go in there, lean and not really have a ton of muscle, and they add that on? So yeah, it's. I mean, we had tight ends we had offensive linemen about this size when we were about 2 or 3 years ago.
So not even high school linemen at that point. We're talking about
we're talking about
1 SEC linemen.
SEC starting.
Yeah, it's definitely a change in Jeremy Pruitt's his mantra. We talked about that mantra, the fast, physical, big mantra. Getting more guys that fit that.
Speed kills, baby.
Yep. Did you see Jeremy Pruitt's? It was an interview, I believe, with Rivals, and he was talking about Jonathan Abrams specifically and recruiting him at one point. It was, if you haven't listened to it, I don't remember who it's with. You can look it up on YouTube, and it kind of gives you some insight into how Jeremy Pruitt recruits kids. It's interesting. Obviously, it's not super in depth or anything, but he talks about bringing him onto campus. I believe when he was at Georgia, and talking about what he kind of looks for in those guys and where they're at in their development before he gets them onto campus. So it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, he's a Salmon guy.
Do what?
Jonathan Abrams.
Oh, he was a Salmon, wasn't he? Yeah. That was at the Raiders camp, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, so he talks about that and how he recruited him before Abrams committed to Mississippi State, where he went to school at. But yeah, it definitely just gives you some insight into what he's looking for in commits and how he goes about that. So it's definitely interesting. I don't know how long the interview went. I just saw that little tidbit.
And Jonathan Abrams ended up going to Mississippi State, but I saw something today where they had a list of like Power 5 teams that had a losing record that could win 10 games next season, and Mississippi State was on there. I was like,
I just don't know. I don't know what that roster looks like, but I can't imagine changing styles that drastically and playing in the West and winning 10 games.
Yeah, that's my thing.
I don't know the roster, though. I'll say that.
Yeah, I don't know what your schedule looks like, but you're having to play LSU, Alabama, Auburn.
Yeah, I do know that.
Those are all three going to be losses.
And you expect, because of coaching changes, Arkansas and Ole Miss to get better. Just like, Mississippi State should technically be a little bit better.
Yeah, I would think they would lose to Ole Miss, too.
Right. But Ole Miss and Arkansas aren't going to change up their styles of play as drastically as Mississippi State is.
Yeah.
You're just not going to have the guys to necessarily do what you want to do in your first season. Yeah, I don't see them winning 10 games. I don't see how that's possible.
10 games, that would be... They'd go 12-2, right? Or not. They'd go 10-2.
Yeah, regular season 10-2. They do have Kentucky on the schedule. That's their East opponent this year. That makes that a little bit easier.
Yeah, I don't see them beating Kentucky.
I don't either. Or Missouri. Maybe. I don't know about Missouri either. Didn't Missouri lose a lot on their defense?
They lose Kelly Bryant.
And they lost Kelly Bryant. I thought they lost some defensive players this year.
They might have.
I can't remember.
I think they did. They did lose a defensive tackle. I'm pretty sure.
Well, we just got this question, I guess, as this brought up. But in your opinion, how many wins for the Vols this year? Before we touch on that, someone said, did Barnes turn down McClung? We're actually going to talk about that in just a second, so hang on for that one. We will talk about the wins because, like you said, you saw where Mississippi State was expected to have 10 wins. We just don't see that being possible. Wins for the Vols, I think it's over 8, but I think it's under 10. I think you're sitting there. I think it's 8, somewhere between 8 and 9 wins, and that's, in my opinion, probably going to end up a really good season. I think you've got to look at, you can't get blown out especially when we talk about hanging on to this recruiting class. You can't go and get blown out by Oklahoma, Alabama, Florida, Georgia. You cannot get blown out by those guys.
Yeah, I would say 8 is a safe bet.
Mm-hmm.
But dude, I want to beat Oklahoma so bad just because I don't think they're that great. I feel like they have a good offense, but they're having to do a new quarterback with no spring practice.
Who doesn't seem to be the most mentally tough kid in the world.
Exactly.
And with the way you pass rush, hopefully you can get him frustrated and flustered real quick.
And with our defense, the way it came on at the end of the season, I think it only gets better.
Right.
I just don't.
And the offense should be better this year.
I don't know. Like, I want to not be a Tennessee fan and think about it, like really think about it. But the more I think about it, I'm just like, dude, we should beat Oklahoma. I don't know if "should" is the correct term, but like
if it's in Neyland, I think it might be the correct term. Going to Norman changes it, certainly.
That's true.
It's early in the year, and I do feel like Oklahoma's going to be more, I guess, more mature in that way. They're going to have guys that have played in big-time games, and they have experience winning, whereas how much experience do our guys really have winning?
Yep.
So, I mean, at the end of the season, it certainly helps when you beat Kentucky the way you beat Kentucky. That goal, you had to make a stand there. That certainly helps. You talk about the comeback win over Indiana. I know Indiana's not a great team, great program, but you did have to come from behind late in the game. That adds an element to it. So I think you have guys that are learning how to win, but I can't confidently say our team and our program as a whole right now knows how to win.
Yep. That's true. I just think with them losing Jalen Hurts, with them losing Kenneth Murray at linebacker, that's 2 big-time players to replace.
I think the Oklahoma is in play for sure. I don't think it's out of the question.
I mean, I would probably say that would probably be our one that we sneak up on, like over Georgia, Alabama, and Florida.
I like that Oklahoma. So someone just asked about the Georgia game as well. That was I like Oklahoma being at the beginning of the year if I had to play them because, like you said, new quarterback, they're having to replace quite a bit. I would rather play them, and then you flip that. Look at Georgia. They asked, is Georgia a win? I don't know if it's a win, but I'd rather play Georgia in November than in September, October.
They're having to replace a lot, and they're putting a lot of pressure on Jamie Newman to be the next freaking Joe Burrow.
Right, and he's a 3-star from Wake Forest.
Yeah.
He's not, and I know Ohio is not just a football hotbed, but Joe Burrow won Mr. Football in Ohio.
And they're doing his stats against, like, ranked opponents, and it is trash.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have faith in him being the guy.
And they lose that, like, whole offensive line.
Yeah, Georgia's, I mean, they're reloading, but it's kind of look at our defense. They're still going to be young.
Yeah.
Still going to be young. It's going to be interesting. I do like that we're playing Georgia, though, at the beginning. I don't know. I cannot say it's a win right off the bat, but I do like it being in November.
Yeah, that's true.
So, and I do like Oklahoma being in September, assuming that they're played those times.
But I think both those games, like, you would love for them to be at home, too.
Yes. Yeah. We're going to Georgia, aren't we?
Yeah. That's the plan.
Yeah.
If we're allowed.
If we're allowed. We'll go either way. Can't arrest us all.
Exactly.
Can't
I mean, if all those people can sneak in and do a snowball fight in Neyland Stadium,
Exactly.
they can't stop 100,000 people from walking up in there.
Right. Do you have anything else for football recruiting before we kind of move on to some?
That's kind of all I got. I mean, it is kind of weird that we're just not like we've been getting a commit. It seems like almost every day, and it's just weird that we haven't.
Right. I need answers. Why are we not getting a commit?
Yeah.
Why are we not getting commits right now?
Just slow down a little bit.
Yeah.
I think we'll get some good news tomorrow.
I'd agree. I can't wait. Speaking of that, look out for, we'll do a little short clip tomorrow night. That'll be on YouTube and Twitter and Facebook, so make sure you look out for that. We will have updates on what we expect to be commitments tomorrow.
Yeah.
Mac McClung, we got the question, has Barnes turned down Mac McClung?
I don't think the term "turn down" is.
I don't think "turn down's right. I think the thought process right now is you got a full roster, but you do potentially have someone leaving for the draft this year.
Yeah, I think that's it. The conversation probably went, "Hey, we'd love to have you. Unfortunately, we don't have the scholarships right now, but we could probably lose one within the next month."
Right. And another thought, and I don't know how all this works. I don't know. But if he's not going to be eligible this year anywhere he goes.
Yeah, then you look at next year.
Could he come and be on the roster this year and then be on scholarship next year? Is that a possibility? Or do you think he's looking for somewhere where he can immediately get on scholarship?
Yeah. I don't think that. I don't think he would come to a place and not be on scholarship.
Okay.
That's just me.
Right.
I mean, he can find a scholarship somewhere else.
Right.
So I don't think he would just wait unless he's just a huge Tennessee fan and just wants to be in orange.
Well, that more has to do with would he be if he's ineligible anywhere he goes. So if he wasn't able to gain immediate eligibility, you'd be sitting on the bench. You wouldn't be able to travel. Well, I guess you could get a travel waiver, but that's why I asked that question. I think this is going to be a big wait and see process, though.
Which I think that kind of works in Tennessee's favor a little bit because if it's wait and see what the NCAA is going to do about the one-time transfer, then you kind of are playing the waiting game with East Pons as well.
Yeah.
So if East Pons says, I'm going to the draft, and the NCAA hasn't really decided yet, then that kind of works out for Tennessee, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would agree with that because right now he's probably holding off on that transfer to kind of see how it goes because Tennessee would probably, I think it would technically be closer. I don't know. I don't know the distance from, where's he from? Gate City?
Gate City, Virginia.
Don't really know I know it's about an hour and 45 minutes roughly from Knoxville to Gate City. I don't know if that falls in the
2 hour or 200-mile radius.
Yeah,
or whatever it is.
Is that what it is? It's a 200-mile radius.
It's
inside 200 miles.
Yeah,
it is inside 200 miles. But I don't know exactly what that entails for getting immediately eligible. Mm-hmm. I'm really not sure.
I just think with Matt McClung, I think it would be great to have him just because he is a scorer. He's a 3-point threat. But it just seems like the timing just does not match up for Tennessee.
Tennessee seems too guard heavy to go out and try to get another guard.
Yeah, like if this was next year, or if this was last year.
This is last year because you went and got a guard halfway through the season.
Yeah.
Then you're probably
it would work out perfectly. But
right.
Yeah, just since the timing just doesn't really seem to add up, I just doubt Matt McClung ends up of all.
I am with you there. I do want to kind of hesitate a little bit more and say the fact that his name, but again, the source that we're hearing it from, we really don't know how. But they were right on him transferring, so I'll give them credit for that. And the fact that his name would be linked there, which makes me think either he's reached out to Tennessee or Tennessee's reached out to him. That makes me think they both Mac knows what the Tennessee roster looks like. Obviously, the coaches know what the roster looks like. So if there's interest there, that makes me think they would try to work it out. And what he announced it a week ago he was transferring. Yeah. So or less than that, I guess.
Maybe he wants to wait it out and take some visits.
Yeah, I don't think, especially with kind of the unknowns of whether you'll even be on campus come August. I think this is probably going to be a longer process than normal, I would guess.
Yep.
So we're going to let it play out and see. Like you said, it'd be nice to have him on the roster. You're not going to turn down players that can play, kind of like JT Daniels when you look at the QB room and you go, it's full, we don't necessarily need him. If he can play ball and he wants to come to Tennessee and compete, we'll take him.
Yeah.
Same with Mac McClung, same with JT Daniels, same with any transfer that if he could play, or any recruit that if he could play. If there's room for him and they want to come and compete, we'll take him.
Yeah,
Tennessee will take him.
I think Tennessee was kind of like, we can't really run anybody off
right
at the guard position because like your best players or your best ball handlers last year were freshmen. This guy only has 2 years of eligibility. The guys coming in this year are freshmen.
Right. And one primary ball handler. Both handle the ball.
5 stars, so you're not going to get rid of any of them. If it was a big man, I feel like it would be totally different. Like somebody would be gone.
Yeah, probably.
You'd probably run somebody off. But if it's a guard, it's like, he's a great player, but is he... I don't know. Would he even start next year?
I don't think he would. I'd be very surprised if he started.
Yeah.
Someone said McClung's sister played at UT. She did play at UT. I believe she transferred in 2016 and played until, I think, 2018 maybe.
Played soccer?
She was here for a few years. She played soccer. She played at Florida State before transferring here. So.
Okay.
Yeah. A lot of people in YouTube are saying 10-2. This is back to football. 10-2 Vols. I see a 9-win. I like where your heads are at. And I hope you're right.
Yeah.
I certainly like where your heads are at. Kind of going back to football and looking at the QB situation. The only thing that's changed is Jarrett Garantana's apparently put on 30 pounds.
Heavy.
And I don't know if it's fat or muscle. I can't tell from a picture or a video if it's fat or muscle. I do know that it is way easier in, 2 months, to put on 30 pounds of fat than it is to put on 30 pounds of muscle.
I just have a hard time thinking the staff would just,
right.
not let him sit on the couch and just gain. How much did he weigh last year? 210?
I can see if I can find it on the...
I mean, maybe it's just bulk season. He's bulking up, and then when he gets back, I'm sure he'll lose.
Yeah, he'll drop some of that when you start conditioning and looking to get fit for the season. But
from what I've seen, he's been working out, so right. I think it
doesn't.
Surely it's muscle,
and whether it's, and it may not even be quite 30 pounds either.
Yeah, that's probably a stretch. He's probably 221, right. And they're like, "Oh, damn, you're 230."
Yeah, and he doesn't look fat. I know that. I'm not saying he didn't put on a bunch of weight. I don't know, but he doesn't look fat. So the official roster right now has him listed at 215. So to put on 30 pounds, there's no way he put on 30. There's no way he put on 30 pounds.
I mean,
0
15?
chance. Huh?
He was 215.
That's what the official roster has.
So
this would have been updated in the spring. So maybe since January.
He gained 15 pounds.
Is that what they said?
Yeah, he's 230.
Oh, he's 230 now. Yeah. 15 pounds of muscle is easier to gain than 30 pounds.
Yeah, 30
I thought they were saying he put on 30 pounds.
It's 245.
Yeah, there's no chance. He's bigger than...
He's bigger than Jameer Johnson right now.
But that's what I'm saying, though. I don't think he put on... I don't know. But in that picture, he certainly does not look fat.
Yeah. 15 pounds, that's...
It's funny, though, that we saw Harrison Bailey before he got onto campus. His goal was to take off some weight, and I think he lost 10 or 15 pounds.
He changed his whole body from his junior year to senior year.
And now you've got a quarterback in the same room currently trying to put on weight.
Yeah.
For, I'm sure that, because he's not, if he weighs 215, he certainly didn't look it last year.
No.
He looked probably closer to 200.
Maybe it's the like the MJ thing. And no, I'm not comparing JG to MJ. I'm not doing
sure?
that. But I'm saying, maybe JG was just tired of taking a beating like MJ was with the Pistons and started lifting weights.
Right. Okay, Trey Wallace said at the end of the season he weighed around, so I was about to say this probably was updated in the spring at 215. Trey Wallace said at the end of the season he weighed about 200, so I was right. He looked like he weighed about 200 pounds, and now he's up to 230. So 30 pounds of muscle since January. Or 30 pounds of weight since January. Whether that's fat or muscle, I don't know.
30.
That's a lot of weight to put on. If it's fat, the man carries it well, so kudos.
Is he 230 in pads?
Maybe,
like
yeah.
Okay.
Maybe. They're like, before you step on there, go put your helmet on for me.
Yeah, 230. That's big. I mean, we're talking like we might put another 2 beside JG and make him
right.
Jared Lorenzen.
Someone did tweet that picture back at it. Yeah. Oh, that's terrible. But it's funny. It's terrible. Yeah, the obviously that video of him and Harrison Bailey training in Atlanta, right?
Yeah, and then he was at D1 I think yesterday.
Oh, so he's back. He's officially back in town too. Makes me think more.
Yeah,
more guys are
a bunch of the players are headed back to Knoxville.
Well, so let's talk about that because you had the SEC had some meetings about when to come back. It was reported by Matt Jones that Philip Fulmer was the only person who didn't want to come back June 1st. He wants to come back June 15th for whatever reason. I'm sure he has a reason. I can't imagine he'd be like, June 15th just sounds sweeter.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a reason. I don't know what the reason is, but I'm sure there is. But there were players. You actually mentioned it on Wednesday how players were already starting to head back and make their way back to campus. So I'm sure they're being told by the coaches that you need to be here by a certain date, and some of those guys are probably already leaking back in, and then some guys are.
Yeah, they probably have off-campus apartments, so they're just already heading back to get acclimated. Because I can't imagine. I've been working from home for 2 months. I can't imagine going back to the office. It's going to be so weird. So just getting back and then thrown into everything right away.
And
gyms
get
acclimated.
Right, and gyms are opening back up in Knoxville. You mentioned D1 and some guys training at D1. Some of these guys in higher infected areas, they probably haven't been able to go to gyms. I'm sure they've been able to go to fields or work out in yards or whatever. If you haven't seen the strength staff sending out workouts that can be done in your backyard, I'm sure they're doing that. But with gyms opening back up in Knoxville, I'd say for a lot of guys, this is the best place to be, like you said, not only to get acclimated, but also it gives them a better chance of working out.
Yeah.
But it looks like I think June 15th is probably going to be the official date of start. I would imagine those guys with off-campus apartments are being encouraged to be back by June 1st.
Yep.
So, but May 22nd, Friday, the SEC will vote on that.
Okay.
So we'll know by
Friday
Friday
afternoon. Leaked
afternoon.
of what the answer is going to be. So
Do what now?
maybe it's leaked of what the answers are. They probably already know what the answers.
They do probably have a general idea. It getting pushed back a week from this Friday leads me to believe that it's June 15th. What could be going on is there could be conversations of going, it's definitely going to be June 1st. Go ahead and tell your guys, and your campus needs to be prepping for it. So that certainly could be the case because, like you said, it's the athletic directors and the presidents voting. So it's them making the decision, so they know it.
Right.
And they're talking to each other. Now, obviously, it's unofficially official.
Just like everything else.
It's unofficially official. But hey, good news. We're moving in the direction of having a football season on time. So I like it.
So, who do you think the backup quarterback is? Game 1. Well, I think we can all agree that JG is probably going to be the starter, unless it is 30 pounds of fat, and he probably will not. They'll probably just try him out at.
He may get moved to tight end.
yeah, it might.
I'm with you. I think we hear the. I think the is it Jarnigan? Is he the PA announcer? I believe if there's fans in the stands, I believe you hear starting quarterback Jarrett Garantano. So yeah. I just can't imagine that.
And then who's your backup?
Harrison Bailey.
That's probably mine.
There's no doubt in my mind. You see, I can't say no doubt. I would bet that you see a lot of Harrison Bailey in the second half
of games where you blow people out
of Charlotte.
Yeah,
I think either way you see him. Either you're blowing him out and you want to get him some looks, or Garantano's struggling and you better figure out a solution before you go to Norman the next week.
Yep, I agree with that. I mean,
so I think you see a lot of them in the second half.
The best player's going to play, and if two can't get it done, then he'll throw somebody else in there and give them an opportunity.
Yeah, I think the quarterback situation is much different than last year, where you saw hesitations to go to Maurer and JT Shrout. Not that I agree, but there's differences in them and Harrison Bailey. The only similarity is that they were freshmen.
Yeah,
that's it. That's legitimately.
He definitely seems more ready, more college ready than those two did their freshman year. 100%.
Yep. I'd be very surprised if you don't get into fall camp with Harrison Bailey already the second string quarterback.
And you can play 4 games, so and still have your red shirt. So if that's the plan, JG, and the plan is that redshirt Harrison Bailey, then you'll probably see him in all those 4 games.
Yeah, I agree.
And if you have to play somebody else, then you'll probably throw Maurer in there as well.
Yeah, that's another thing too. Is how do you go about that red shirt if Jarrett Garantano goes down? And the good news is, like you said, you have 4 games. Deciding when to burn that red shirt is tough because.
Well, the good thing is Maurer still has. He didn't redshirt last year, so he can.
Right, he has a redshirt.
Yeah, so
did Trout technically?
He used his first year, so he was a sophomore last year.
Okay, that's right. That's right.
A redshirt freshman.
Yeah, I forgot he came in with Pruitt's first class. Yeah. You're right. Okay, yeah. So and then you also have Jimmy Holiday on the roster who's still listed as a quarterback right now.
Kasim Hill,
and who has some college experience.
Maybe you add another guy.
Maybe JT Daniels sneaks his way into the room. I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know.
I know who my starting quarterback in the '98 national championship game is and was. T. Martin.
So who's better, T. Martin or JG?
They make the same passes. Can you not tell?
Yeah, apparently.
What about that pass to Peerless Pross in the first quarter?
Dude,
like perfect, like in stride. Peerless barely had to move into the inside.
Dude, I tweeted out some today. Got some people talking. So I said that Peerless Pross is the best receiver to come through Tennessee, and and you can make a case for Carl Pickens or Joey Ken or people like that. But
I think I meant to tweet back. I don't think I did. I had a tweet probably about halfway typed up, but like you said, you can make a case for a lot of guys. I think that just shows Tennessee's wide receiver you.
Yeah.
There's a lot of guys that you could say are the best all time at Tennessee, but you could also easily say it's Peerless Price.
Yeah, I mean when there was a play that needed to be made, it was Peerless Price that was making that play.
Right.
In every single big game, he just seemed to shine the brightest in the brightest of stages.
Yeah. No, Peerless definitely made it easier on.
He didn't shy away from the spotlight. That's for sure.
He didn't. He made it easier on T. Martin. He definitely made his quarterback look good, but that's kind of the main job of wide receiver. If you're going to be a good wide receiver, you better make your quarterback look good, and kind of vice versa. If you're a good quarterback, you better make your wide receivers look good.
Yeah, for sure.
They both definitely complemented each other well, and I mean, there's a lot of guys. I saw even Cordell Patterson get his name tossed into there. I think that's a guy, if he had another year at UT or potentially maybe arrived on campus his freshman year, that's a guy you're probably putting in that list. Unfortunately, you only saw him for a year. But yeah, I think you could easily throw his name in the hat. I don't think he wins it if you get into a real debate, just because he was only here for 1 year. Derek Rogers is a guy who, if he could have stayed out of trouble and stayed on campus, his name's probably getting mentioned in that.
Robert Meacham.
Robert Meacham is
Dante Stallworth.
It sucks seeing him leave after his junior year, but Meacham was a baller, and a lot of great wide receivers, and maybe getting back to that here hopefully soon. And I mean, you definitely had some great wide receivers in the last couple years. We actually, I don't know if we talked about it on the show or if me and you were just talking about how good Marquez North was, and he really only was healthy his freshman year. Struggled with injuries the remainder of his career, but that's a guy who he had Justin Worley as his quarterback. I love the Worley bird, but he's not a guy that makes his wide receivers look outstanding.
No.
And he still put up some stats and had he had probably the best probably one of the most incredible touchdown catches I've ever seen in Georgia, 2013.
Yeah.
I mean, that was an insane. In real time, I was like, "There's no way that's a touchdown," and somehow, some way. So I mean, that's a guy that probably could etch his name in there if he was given a few more chances, but injury got him. Trying to think 2013 and newer. I guess that's really. I feel like Josh Malone was almost underutilized. I feel like he was also kind of buried in a good roster though too. And I think he almost ended up with 1,000 yards his senior year. I think he's like 700-800.
No, it was like 9.
Oh, he almost touched 1,000.
I think it was close.
Okay, but I mean, he's a guy who, he wasn't the number one receiver on that roster, and but obviously enough targets to I thought he was definitely close enough that I was thinking he should have been all SEC. I don't even think he made the third team that year though.
Yeah, I don't think he did either.
And he should have. That was the year though that I'm trying to remember who was at Alabama. I think Alabama had 2 wide receivers that were close to 1,000 yards.
Who was that?
I can't remember that. I mean, that would have been 2016, but I can't remember. But Malone was just.
Oh, was that it? Cooper? Amari Cooper?
I guess it would have been.
Okay.
Yeah. There were a lot of good wide receivers in the SEC that year too, so that could obviously be a reason why. But Tennessee, yeah, I mean, I think there's a good chance you see some return. Josh Palmer, there was even some talk about Josh Palmer potentially being the best wide receiver on the roster last year. Again, it's kind of like the Peerless Process. It's hard to kind of deny that. I think you can make a case for Callaway, Jennings or Palmer. Palmer definitely made a lot of
as a talented receiver. Now
when you talk about production,
yeah, you talk about production. It's obviously Juwan Jennings, but
yeah, and I think Josh Palmer is going to be if he can find a quarterback that complements him. I think he'll be a guy this year that that makes a ton of plays.
Yeah,
especially if you can have someone like Jalen Hyatt making safeties nervous on the other side of the field.
Yep.
It'll help a lot. Speed kills.
Can't coach it.
1998. You ready to go back?
Let's go back.
Landon asked why I was wearing a sweater. It's because King Smokey. I assume I thought this was a Fiesta Bowl shirt, but it's not Fiesta Bowl.
So you wore a sweatshirt in 80 degrees.
For no reason. It's not no reason. Smokey's sitting on a throne.
The Kings.
The Kings.
Tennessee
ended up Kings. I'm actually going to Phoenix tomorrow. Or tonight, I guess.
Jeez.
Yeah,
you wear your mask? I'm
gonna have to, especially when I fly back. American Airlines doesn't let you fly without a mask. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do you have one?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm about to say I got some if you need.
Should I be wearing your mask?
I have multiple. I have packs of masks.
You have packs? Are you a hoarder?
No, my dad works for the government. So
there you go. Oh wow, government privilege. 98 rewatch though. I hope you guys rewatched it with us. If you didn't, obviously you can go back. They're all on YouTube. It's a lot of fun going back and watching Tennessee. It's also fun to go back and pay attention to the other teams and the guys who are listed on the guys that are on the other teams. I mean, for example, he didn't play in this game, but Chris Winkie, who was kind of the talk of the championship because he got injured 2 games ago.
Yeah.
And talking about how they're missing their starting quarterback. It's just, I mean, it's fun to go back and watch an entire season. I was glad we did that.
Yeah.
I'm glad it was available to do it.
Yeah, it was fun. And I don't want to hear from Florida State fans, if Chris Winkie wasn't injured. No,
that Tennessee defense was filthy.
Yeah, if you didn't think you'd have a chance to win it, you wouldn't have got on the bus, right?
Right, exactly. So. And FSU's defense, too, was highlighted as the best defense in the country. And I think Tennessee just went out, and proved some people wrong.
Yeah, Peerless Price had 4 receptions, 199 yards. I mean, that didn't seem like the best defense in the country to me.
Nope. It didn't help that the best defense in the country was also playing you that night. So it really got highlighted.
Yep.
Really got highlighted. Someone asked, can you give an opinion on outlook on linebackers? We'll get to that in just a minute. We're going to run through this 98 rewatch. Close your eyes. Go back in time. Go back to 1998. Thank God Ohio State. Actually, it would have been fun to beat Ohio State in the national championship, but thank God they didn't play just because I can't stand them.
Yep.
But we'll take Florida State. It also would have been fun to play Florida. Someone brought up a good point. Beating Florida twice would have been beating any team twice, or beating any good team twice is difficult. Beating that Florida team twice would have been very difficult. So I guess in hindsight, you're kind of I'm glad we didn't play them.
Oh yeah, no matter how many in a row they beat us in after that, we beat y'all twice in one season.
Oh, that would have been nice. Yeah, that would have been awesome. Especially if one of those is the national championship game.
Exactly.
Yeah, obviously Chris Winkie's out. Marcus Autzen. I'll say his name.
Something like
Autzen,
that.
yeah.
That was close. One of those.
What'd they call him?
Rooster.
Rooster.
Yeah.
Don't think that was a good nickname. Sorry. I don't like that nickname. Florida State's only loss coming to NC State.
Second game of the season.
Yeah. They got that's kind of the talk though now is like if you're gonna lose, you better lose early on. They remember Johnny Majors, they remember what you do in November, and Florida State obviously took care of business later in the year.
Yeah, they were talking about both these teams, and both of them were kind of like that team of destiny.
Yeah.
You know, Tennessee had a lot of. They obviously had the Florida game where they missed the kick. They had the Syracuse game, the first game of the season, where Jeff Hall dong punches one for the win. But yeah, so the Arkansas game, I mean, they were definitely a team of destiny. And then you look at Florida State, who was number 4 heading into the last week of the season, and 2 teams in front of them lose.
Right. It takes a Butch Jones mentality to bring teams of destiny to a screeching halt. And I say that because if you guys don't remember in 2016, the App State, obviously the Dobbs-Snell boot, Florida, those are teams of destiny, and Butch Jones brought it to a screeching halt.
Whoa, South Carolina, Vandy.
Shouldn't have lost it, A&M. And then we get absolutely trounced by Alabama that next week. Oh, man.
That was bad.
Yeah. When we caught the Hail Mary at Georgia, I was like, this might actually happen. I was like, that kind of stuff happens to championship teams.
Oh, yeah. You're like...
Auburn.
I don't... Like, if... Like, when I wasn't... How long ago was that? 4 years ago? So, if I wasn't just 21, I was 25, I actually had, like, a house, a full-time job, I would have been like, oh, yeah, I'm buying an SEC championship ticket now.
Yeah, and at the time, it probably would have seemed like the right move.
Yeah.
And we somehow didn't end up in Atlanta. But this team did, and ended up in the Fiesta Bowl. Clad and Randy Sanders, first game.
Yeah.
As offensive coordinator.
is gone to Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Ole Piss.
And Randy Sanders is now the ETSU head football coach. So
also, Florida State, they had obviously Chris Winkie, who's a Tennessee assistant coach. They had Sebastian Janikowski,
who gets his
for the Raiders.
First extra point blocked. Well, tipped and then hits the
and then
upright.
Mark Richt is their OC.
Yep.
Oh, good Christian.
He was there for
Mark Richt.
At that point, he was there, I think, for 11 seasons. How old is Mark Richt?
I don't know.
That
was like his 5th season?
Oh,
I think.
I swore it said like 11th or 13th, like something. I was like, what?
I think that's right.
That may be right. I might have been off on that. They also mentioned Fulmer won the, I can't remember the name of the award.
It was his 5th season. The defensive coordinator, it was his 15th.
Okay, so I just got the two
Mickey
backwards.
Yeah.
They mentioned Fulmer winning the Coach of the Year award. He was 66-11 in his head coaching career at this point.
Yeah, he was the best, the winningest coach in the country.
Mm-hmm. The active.
Active, yes.
But I mean, he had faced off against some notable name coaches that season, and then Bobby Bowden across the sideline that night. Also, Florida State's khaki Nike jackets were the ugliest thing in the world.
They were ugly.
Like, you need to put more pattern if your color is khaki.
I'm wearing khaki.
Khakis. The announcers also...
going Jake from State Farm before that was a thing.
For real. You mentioned that on Twitter, I saw you tweet that all the analysts had picked Florida State to win. They also said that Florida State had been in bigger games up to that point. That season, they had played 4 ranked opponents and 1 in the top 10. Tennessee had played 5 ranked opponents, 3 in the top 10. And then I went back, I was like, maybe they mean this program. And then last year, but they played 6 top 10 opponents, and we played 5 last year.
Did the ACC play a...
They did not play at a championship game either.
Yeah,
so they hadn't played... Florida State hadn't played in like 46 days or something like that, and Tennessee hadn't played in 30-something with them.
Yeah. That's dumb. But yeah, they played in bigger games, for sure.
I was like, I don't understand that.
So kind of how Florida State got there. So Miami beat UCLA. Then Texas A&M beat Kansas State in double overtime to send...
Yeah, we actually talked about that in the SEC when we watched the SEC championship game
send the Noles
on Wednesday.
To the championship.
Yeah, it definitely, like you said, team of destiny, sort of. Tennessee ruined that.
They're favored by 5.5 points.
Really?
Yep.
Nice.
5.5.
There's a lot of good stories about people traveling to the national championship game. A lot of Vol fans. I think Martin Nagy talks about it in that Decade of Dysfunction book. I think he talks about how he went to the game. I can't remember the...
I know they talked about, on the broadcast, they talked about how all the Tennessee fans went to a certain church in town in Phoenix,
really?
or Tempe, or wherever this is.
Tempe, Phoenix.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah.
And the pastor was like, I'm sorry. I tried to get them to learn Rocky Top. They just couldn't get it.
Tried to get...
The choir to learn Rocky Top. They couldn't get it.
Good. Did you... I don't know what the ratio of Tennessee to Florida State fans were, and I don't remember which either punt or field goal it was, but did you hear that kick chant that was incredibly loud? Like, it sounded like it was in Neyland.
I don't think I remember hearing that.
I think it was like first half, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, it was pretty early on, but it was incredibly loud. And I'm sure with the way Tennessee fans travel, at the very minimum, it was 50-50, if not favoring Tennessee fans.
And this was the first time since 1991 a quarterback, a first-year starting quarterback, was going to win a national championship.
Dang. I didn't know that. There you go, T. Martin.
Yeah.
Have your day.
It was Billy Joe Hobart, won as a first-year starter for Washington.
I didn't know Washington had a national championship.
Co-champion.
Oh, they're the co-champions.
Yeah, they were. Yep.
They're the co-champions. Was that... Did they actually talk about that during the game?
Uh-huh.
Because it was...
They were doing that broadcast, yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay. That's what I thought. I'm trying to think.
And then I didn't know that T. Martin's name was misspelled in the hospital. So he was like...
I heard... Okay, yeah.
His dad's name is Maurice, and it was supposed to be to Maurice, like T.O. Maurice, saying like he was a gift to Maurice. And then somebody at the hospital spelled it T.A.
That's incredible.
So he was like...
It stuck.
Yeah.
It was literally the name given to me. That's pretty incredible. That's pretty incredible. Wow. Okay, so that was at the very beginning of the broadcast, because that was then when Allison talks about his nickname Rooster.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's a great nickname.
Like, dude, how do you misspell?
Yeah, that's two.
Like, you make sure, like, you check the list, or, check the list. And
don't they, like, bring the birth certificate to you? Or like, hey, this is right.
Right.
Do they not do that?
I don't know. I've never been there.
I wonder if my name
I'll let you know if it
on
happens. Yeah, if you're a dad or a mom and let us know.
Also, if not, I'm going to try to go misspell names on birth certificates.
Is that somebody's job? Does somebody get 40 hours a week just
checking
printing names? Yeah. Printing names on a birth certificate?
Yeah, it's an essential job, I'm sure. The Tennessee running game. Did you find that box score to see what Travis Henry finished with? No. How is there not an official box score for the?
I have no clue.
That's insanity.
What
about those national championship rings though?
If you haven't Travis seen that, Henry only had 28 rushing yards, right?
So I guess it was Stevens then that had a couple big runs.
So Tennessee only had 114 in the game, and that was by Henry, Stevens, T. Martin, and Sean Bryson.
Sean Bryson had the first touchdown pass. And did you hear his...
It's not an actual game unless a fullback gets a touchdown.
Right. Did you hear that deep voice after his touchdown? Hell yeah. I was like, oh my God.
I think it was Fearless Bryce.
Was it? Yeah. That's a deep voice. I was like, good God. That was that touchdown pass. Let's be clear about this.
I'm like, dang it, that was your one opportunity to just say something just outlandish, and that's all we got.
So since that debate popped up, I've seen the quarterback in question miss on way too many bubble screens to think for a second he could have hit that fullback in the flat.
Dude, it looked like us.
And T. Martin had to roll out. On the Sean Bryson touchdown?
Oh, I'm talking about Florida State when they opened up the game and tried to run 2 bubble screens.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, good Lord.
Well, then us. I think it's the third play of the second, or is it second drive? When they run that little reverse top deal, that little jet sweep reverse.
Yeah.
And almost fumbles it in the end zone. he picks it back up somehow and gets out of the end zone.
Oh yeah. I know what you're talking about.
There were a lot of sloppy plays by Florida State, especially. They had that roughing the kicker penalty early on. They had 2 roughing the kicker penalties actually. After a Jeff Hall missed his first field goal, his second field goal he hit, and they rough Jeff Hall, and that's how Tennessee actually scores their first touchdown.
Yeah, Mark Richt did not trust his Rooster at quarterback.
You wouldn't trust a guy named Rooster, so I don't know.
I mean, they were talking about how they just haven't ran that like jet sweep, the fake reverses and stuff like that, but he just didn't trust him throwing it down the field, which is he had 3 interceptions, so I guess
and then early on in the game, very uncharacteristic of Deion Grant to make just a poor poor play on the ball that bailed him out of a interception on a play action pass.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, and I think it was Dwayne Goodrich was that who was behind him there? Who ended up behind him? Probably should have had it
or
too.
Steve Johnson. Yeah,
it would have been one of them.
Yeah.
Also, that pick 6 was
beautiful,
gorgeous. Great break on the ball.
Peter Warrick didn't want it. So Goodrich was the defensive MVP, and Peerless Price was the offensive MVP.
Who went out? Did Goodrich end up going out with a broken bone?
So yeah, he got hurt. After that pick 6, it was I think it was a play in the end zone.
It was a play in the end zone, and he got landed on by Warwick.
Yep.
And did they ever say what it was, or did they just speculate on the broken bone?
I don't know. I don't know if they.
I don't think I saw what that ended up at. Regardless, Vols win. Vols win big. The national championship is clad in big orange. We talked about our favorite calls the other day,
dude. So, going back, I didn't really remember if how many flags were called, because I've heard a lot of Florida State fans talk about this game and how they got cheated on some of the calls and stuff. Dude, they were just Florida State was just dumb.
Also, there weren't until I think at the end of the first half there were only 4 flags thrown, and 2 of them were roughing the kicker.
Yeah, that's the one thing you don't do is touch the kicker, and you did it twice.
I'll give you the punt. The punt was close, but the field goal wasn't close at all.
No,
and you hit him with your helmet.
Yeah.
How did at least hit him either with your entire body or with your hands.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they definitely did not get robbed in that game.
No. In the first one, we went down and missed a field goal, and then the next, the one where we missed, where it was the field goal, we went and scored. It was a Sean Bryson touchdown.
That was Jeff Hall's first miss in 8 kicks, I think.
8 attempts. Yep.
So again, uncharacteristic. Maybe a little bit of nerves going on.
Yep.
Maybe. There was also the overuse of, I don't know if it was Keith Jackson or the other guy, who kept saying the chalk. The very first punt return that Florida State has, he says that he stepped on the chalk, and then there's 7 more plays where he says that.
Stepped on the chalk.
I'm like, can we find another word for the sideline, please? Pretty please.
I marked this down at 8:38 in the fourth quarter. They had a graphic that was talking about the pressure on Rooster. I'm just going to keep calling him Rooster because I kind of like the nickname, actually. But he was like...
let's be clear. I love the nickname Rooster, but if you're an opposing quarterback nicknamed Rooster, you're going to get made fun of.
Yeah.
Period.
He had only thing he had 1 interception at that point. He had been sacked 4 times and knocked down 18 times.
I saw that. Yeah. Oh, he got pressured a lot. Also, he got a big hit. I believe it was a play action. He rolls out to the right, looking downfield, and he scrambles, gets probably 2 yards as he's stepping out of bounds. I think it might have been Westmoreland that hit him, right on the sideline, that he's getting tossed in nowadays.
Oh, yeah.
But Rooster gets annihilated.
Yep.
Yeah, he definitely he did not have an easy day.
Also, did Florida State really think they got that onside kick? They're like, it didn't hit him. And they were looking up at the replay and reacting like it was not even close. Dude, it hit you in the side.
The ball changed direction. Yeah, I have no idea.
And Janikowski didn't even attempt to dodge it at all.
No.
But when I'm thinking about this, I'm like, dang, dude, this looks like us in the Gator Bowl this past year. Just scores a random touchdown to make it a 1-score game, and then we
somehow start tearing back.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. You got anything else for the national championship game?
That's all I got. It's good to get a win.
It's good to get a win. That's our season.
Perfection.
That's our season right there. So we'll
Perfection.
I think we're going to continue this since there's not any sports really on right now. I mean, I guess there's some sports starting to come back. But I guess throughout the summer, we'll start doing some rewatches of our favorite games. So maybe tweet at us, tell us a game you'd want to do a rewatch and recap of on our show, or just make sure you follow along, and we'll keep doing it. It's been fun. We won't do a full season because there's probably not another full season on.
Yeah.
There's also not another national championship season that we have right now. Maybe in a few years we'll be doing the rewatch of the 2020 season. I don't know.
Hopefully.
Say it right here. It's said right here. 2020 national champions.
We'll just claim it.
Yeah. I mean, if there's
That's
not a
the thing
season,
to
I'm going to tell you right now, we're claiming it.
Yeah.
For sure. So I'm going to get back to that question now, since it was asked during while we're talking about the 98 rewatch. Can you give an opinion on the outlook on the linebackers? Do you have a starting linebacker group?
Yeah, I think it's, if we're talking about the outside linebackers as well, I think you go Kevon Bennett. I think he's going to be, Tennessee's main pass rusher.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll go Henry To'oTo'o. Kavaris Crouch, I think, will be at inside linebacker. And then I think that other outside linebacking position is kind of open. I think DeAndre Johnson probably has it right now.
I was gonna say, like, if it happened tomorrow, it's
but
gotta be
I
DeAndre
think
Johnson,
Tyler
right?
Barron and Morvin Joseph, if they've tackled this offseason like I hope they did,
right?
I think they have a shot. I don't think DeAndre Johnson has solidified himself by any means to be a for sure starter.
Yeah, I think what helps DeAndre Johnson when you're talking about starting is that there wasn't a spring practice.
Yeah, he's got experience.
Right. Which Morvin Joseph wouldn't have been on campus. Would Tyler Barron have been on campus this spring?
He was not an early.
Okay. So regardless,
but he's been on campus.
Right, because his father is
Patrick Abernathy.
What's his position though at UT? I can't remember. Player development?
I don't.
It's an off-field role.
Yeah, it's something like that.
Okay. But yeah, obviously he's been working. He's been around the coaching staff plenty. So.
Yep.
He definitely get a good look. There's also some freshmen you'll see come in. You have the Whitehaven trio. You have Lenneth White. No, safety. Who's a
Lenneth Whitehead.
Lenneth
That's
Whitehead's
right.
okay.
So he's going to start at running
But
back,
yeah.
and then could potentially move over. But yeah, I like that Whitehaven trio. I think McDonald would end up being in the secondary somewhere, but French and Eason, I feel like those guys could, be key reserves at inside linebacker. Then you have J.J. Peterson. What's he do? Is he
on campus?
I mean, I just don't know. With him being at home and then the way he came in, I just have a hard time seeing him just being in tip-top shape when he gets back.
Right.
He could prove me wrong. I hope he does. But
yeah,
if you couldn't do it from the start, I just don't see you doing it now.
Right. He's definitely had some high expectations.
Yep.
So, yep. I don't know. We'll see. I would like for J.J. Peterson to be in that rotation.
Yeah, I wish
he was kind of, he ended up in that rotation kind of by default last year. It'd be nice if he just steps up and makes it happen.
Yeah. I mean, and say he does. Say he does comes in and he's a guy that can play inside linebacker. Then I think you have Crouch at outside linebacker and play him over DeAndre Johnson.
Yeah, definitely.
I think he fits the mold more at inside linebacker, but if he's one of your best 11 on the field, then you play him wherever you can put him.
Right, and I think another name to look out for is Jeremy Banks.
Jeremy Banks.
A lot of people have been some Jeremy Banks deniers. I hope he proves y'all wrong.
I hope he does too. I mean, his freshman year, like he was the Brian Maurer last year. Or 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Yeah. Like everybody was like,
emotional and
dude, he's
ran hard and
he loves to be at Tennessee.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd like to see him back. I don't know what that second chance looks like, but it'd be I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility, I guess.
Yeah, Juwan came back.
And a lot of people are like, yeah, he got arrested. It's a little bit different. It is definitely different. But it seems I don't know if he's posted pictures, but people have posted pictures that I don't know if it has to do with attempting to get back onto the team or getting back into school. Apparently he's been in school though, so he didn't get kicked out of school. Apparently. But it seems like he's been trying to what's the right word? I guess trying to pay back what he.
Yeah, trying to make amends.
Yeah, make amends. So I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. I don't know if that's to satisfy Pruitt or Fulmer or just for self-gain. I have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, we could have used him last season, and, he's probably – him or Crouch are probably the starter at inside linebacker going into this spring if he remained on campus. Now,
right.
I don't know what kind of shape he's in or anything like that, so, being a whole year without – football is definitely difficult to just come back and get right in the middle of things, but we'll see.
We'll see. You ready to get into some segments?
Yeah, let's do it.
Most important of the week.
Most important.
This was actually mine a few weeks ago too, but he was featured on ESPN. Jordan Bone got his degree. He actually did an announcement on Twitter. I think he did a video it was kind of a gift to his mother for Mother's Day. So that happened a few weeks ago. Then ESPN this week did some kind of special. I don't know exactly what it was. I think highlighting just athletes that doing things for Mother's Day, and Jordan Bone was featured on that. So he's gone national with that. That's really cool. Not only that he came back and got his degree, but obviously did something too that his mother appreciated.
Yeah, it's good. Always get that degree. You never know when you're going to have to go back to it. So, Mookie Betts is my next one.
Aww.
So, went to I can like Mookie Betts now.
I've always liked him.
Yeah, I always have.
I guess you can't technically.
I couldn't love him.
Oh yeah, that's right. He got traded, didn't he?
Yeah, he's with the Dodgers, so I can like him now.
Yeah.
So Mookie Betts surprised the grocery shoppers at Kroger in Bordeaux.
I think Bordeaux. I believe
Bordeaux, Tennessee, by buying their groceries. He also bought pizza for the staff to thank them for all their hard work. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, he seems like a legit dude that loves his hometown.
Yeah.
And he would have been at Tennessee had he not been drafted early by the Red Sox.
Yeah, if he wasn't so good at baseball, he would have been at Tennessee.
Was he just playing baseball, or was there thoughts that he might try and play football? Because wasn't he a really good football player?
Basketball player.
Yeah. Gotcha.
I don't know how good he was. I know he was good for his team. I don't know how good he was nationally or anything like that.
Gotcha.
You got any more?
I think all I had was Mookie and Jordan Bone, I believe. Yeah. That's all I've got.
I got a ton of fails, man.
I've got 2 fails, I believe. My first one is the LA Rams with the ugliest uniforms in probably the history of sports.
Dude, how?
The helmets aren't terrible.
No, they're not.
I don't hate the helmets.
No,
those aren't my favorite Ram colors, but I don't hate the helmets. The jerseys, though, what's up with the numbers? What's up with the patch? What's up with that cream jersey?
Yeah, it looks awful.
It's one of the worst NFL jerseys ever.
I mean, how does it go? I'm sure, hundreds of people looked at that jersey and was just like, yep, check, good, love it. How does no one speak up and be like, guys, this is the ugliest thing I've ever seen in my life?
I don't know.
Oh my God. So my fail is not really of the week, but it's got to go with the Seahawks.
Oh yeah,
Seattle Seahawks offering Russell Wilson to the Browns in 2018 in exchange for the number 1 overall pick.
Really?
But Cleveland declined. So I guess it's a fail.
On Cleveland.
Yeah, it's a fail on Cleveland.
So what was that? Give me what round pick again?
The number 1 overall pick.
Number 1 overall pick.
So is Baker Mayfield.
So
Seattle Russell Wilson.
Did Seattle want Baker though, or did they want someone else?
I don't know.
But surely they wanted someone else.
But who else?
Right, I don't know. But surely you don't trade
Sam Darnold.
You don't trade
Josh Rosen or Baker. That was the 3, right?
Those are the quarter. I don't take any of those quarterbacks first round.
No.
Surely they. I mean, I understand what you're saying to get.
Maybe they go Mahomes. Maybe or Watson.
Okay, I wouldn't take him number 1 overall, but I would trade. At that time, I could understand going Wilson for Watson or Mahomes.
Yeah,
Maybe not
like looking at it now, but then like it was those three were the top three quarterbacks,
right?
and
But
the rest of them went later
Watson
on.
should have been above all three of those.
Oh yeah, 100%.
None of those guys deserve to be number one overall pick.
No.
Yeah, I don't know what the Seahawks are thinking. I don't know what the Browns are thinking. You don't take Russell Wilson if someone offered for the first round pick for that year?
I don't understand what did the Seahawks do? They just trading away their best players? Are they the freaking Texans? Jesus Christ.
Well, that sounds like a Browns move. That sounds like it's reversed.
Yeah.
Like that sounds like what the Browns were going to do. Wait, so what draft was it? Was that
2018?
2018? Okay.
So I think Mahomes went 10 and Watson went 14. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think
Pull it up.
that's close. It's got to be close.
Yeah. Mahomes went. Rosen went 10.
Oh, Allen. I forgot about Josh Allen.
Yeah. But
Rosen
he
went
shouldn't
10.
be a top 10 pick either.
So when did Mahomes go?
Mahomes went after.
Or is that a different? Oh, this is the Lamar Jackson. So
Yeah.
this is the wrong draft.
Okay.
So they went the year before with Trubisky.
This is. I mean, I'm telling. Yeah, there's not anyone I'm trading. I mean, maybe. Well, why the Seahawks didn't want Saquon? I guess maybe at 1. But why would you trade Russell Wilson? I guess because that's your only guy that's worth a first round pick.
I know, but you go your franchise quarterback for a running back?
No,
that doesn't make
it's
sense.
definitely a fail on both teams. The Browns should have been like, holy shit, we just lucked into a proven quarterback. Yes.
Yeah,
And then the Seahawks should have never done that.
Oh my god, dude. What a freaking moron.
Yeah, that should have never happened. Oh, that's fantastic. I don't think I have any more fails. Let me see.
So yeah, the Seahawks could be like where the Browns are at right now.
I wouldn't go that far. The Browns are bad.
But yeah, the Seahawks don't really have anybody left that they had when they were good.
No,
Marshawn Lynch is gone. Earl Thomas, Cam Chancellor.
Yeah.
Earl Thomas. Jesus Christ.
Let's talk about Earl and Seth going and banging shit. This is a segment called Earl
Yeah,
and Seth.
maybe the Seahawks draft Seth with the number 1 overall pick.
I don't know. It doesn't sound like Seth had an NFL future. That's awesome.
He definitely doesn't now.
No.
Do you have any more?
No, I don't have any more fails.
So my next one is DeAndre Baker. The cornerback, he was the former Georgia cornerback, was with the Giants last year, his rookie season. Armed robbery, really? With him and who was the other guy he was with?
It was a Florida guy, wasn't it?
Yeah, he went to Florida because somebody said like the biggest cocktail party. I think it was Trey Wallace.
They robbed someone in a cookout parking lot, right? Is that what it was?
Yes. Oh my god. I gotta see who the other guy was. But yeah, so DeAndre Baker, this is what the fail is. So he gets arrested for this. He signed a 4-year, $10 million with $9 million guaranteed, and robbed somebody over $70,000. Like that was the amount of money involved, was $70,000.
Right. In a cookout. What the heck?
I have a lot of questions about like, why is this man got like $70,000 in
I have.
It was
so
Quentin
many
Dunbar.
questions.
That's who it was.
Gotcha. I have a lot of questions that are not gonna be answered.
Dude, what are y'all doing?
This is what we call the Aaron Hernandez class.
Jesus.
Right.
My next one is Fox College Hoops. Tweet out the SEC throwback logos. And Tennessee's is basically the Walmart one with the...
Yeah, what? How does that happen? We talked about this. How does that happen?
I have no clue.
Also, is that Florida logo a throwback? I feel like I see Florida using that right now.
I don't know. I feel like I see Ole Miss with that one too.
That's fair. Well, no. They can't use that anymore.
Oh, they can't?
Now do they still use the shark?
Do they actually use the shark? Or is it just the Ole Miss?
Ah, dude. I feel like that was like a thing for at least a little while.
Yeah, I think they just
because they can't
words.
be the Rebels anymore, right?
Yeah, I think they just use the words. Because I've seen that shark logo, but I don't think I've actually seen it like
I know it was
real.
Well, they like voted on it or something.
Okay.
And
I know that's their mascot, right? Is the land shark?
I think so.
So dumb.
Okay, so this was back in. This is Ole Miss reveals 3 new logos. This is back 2 years ago. So that land shark, the shark fin with the of Mississippi, and then the fins up for the Rebel. Whoa, that's terrible, dude. That's bad. And so did they only do that? So I know their defense, when they were really good that one year, they used to do that. But did they start doing it because of Marshall? What's his name? The basketball player, the white dude. What was his name? Marshall. I don't. Something Marshall.
Yeah, I can see his freaking
ugly
face.
Henderson,
Marshall Henderson.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I think so. But is it going to be like frowned upon that you do fins down?
Yeah, you can't do that. Okay. Can't do fins down.
Okay, that's so dumb. Like, why even do like horns up or whatever?
That's my thing. You shouldn't be, if you can't do horns down or fins down or whatever, you shouldn't be allowed to do horns up. Like one can't be considered taunting and the other not be.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I don't understand.
Whatever.
I think I have one more. Oh, Dabo Sweeney,
dude,
is on TikTok.
Delete.
Dude, why would you post that?
Hey, kids, this is for you kids out there. Everything you post on the internet stays there. So don't post stupid shit.
Yep.
At Dabo. Does he realize that his thing doesn't even rhyme? Like, that's might be the worst part about it. Like, that's the cringiest part.
What does he say? Like, hickory dickory dock, the mouse went up the clock, something stupid, and then he's on TikTok?
Yeah, maybe. But I feel like he says it weirder. It doesn't sound like it rhymes.
I don't know.
It's dumb.
Even if it does rhyme, Jesus Christ. Why would you post that?
I just know.
What commits get him, or what recruits like, dude, I want to play for that guy because he's on freaking TikTok. No.
Dabo's the reason people like Butch Jones happen to. Like,
yeah, he just had success.
He's just better at football than Butch Jones. So, but he's the reason that people do all these cheesy bullcrap. Yeah, it's bad. I used to like Dabo, but he's getting unbearable.
Yeah, he's getting worse and worse. Success has definitely got to his head.
Right. Yeah, it's getting unbearable. That's all I got. You got anything else?
That's all I got.
Yeah, I want to thank you all for listening. I do want to ask you, please go to Twitter and follow us at @more_issues. Go to Facebook. It's More Important Issues. YouTube. Go to Volunteer Roadshow. You can find all of our content as well as all of Volunteer Roadshow's content. VolunteerRoadshow.com. And then you can also find us on Spotify, Google Play, iTunes. Wherever you listen to a podcast, we are there. Make sure you look for new content every single day, especially when we get a commit.
Yeah, guys, go ahead and hit that share button, like button, retweet it. Get this thing out there. Also want to give away a $25 gift certificate to Hound Dogs. And the winner is Andrew Frizzle.
Andrew. Nice. Congratulations, Andrew Frizzle.
Yeah. I see him sharing our stuff on Facebook. So I want to give him a shout out for that.
There you go.
Got that $25 gift certificate. You can cash that in. Just email Bobby C at volunteerroadshow.com or Billy Ratliff at volunteerroadshow.com within a week to claim that prize. Appreciate you listening and checking us out. That's all I got.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Guys, don't rob anybody at Cookout. Just stay away from Cookout after dark.
Exactly.
It's good food, I get it, but just bad things happen there. That's all we got. We're bringing the boat in, and we out.